I really want to encourage a paradigm shift when it comes down to diet culture and eating. So instead of being restrictive with our eating, I really want to focus on being inclusive with our eating and including more nutrient-dense foods instead of calorically dense foods. So I don't really vibe with typical diet culture. They tend to be very restrictive in nature, so you can't telling you what you can and can't eat. You can't eat carbs or fats or animal products when in reality that's just not sustainable in the long term, especially when it comes down to carbs. Quick aside, you need carbs because they're your primary glycogen source. Second, I don't like diets because they tend to indicate a starting point and an ending point. So on such and such a day, I'm going to start my diet, and then over the next 4 weeks or 6 weeks, once I hit that diet, what tends to happen? Usually after that period of time, because that diet wasn't sustainable because it was too restrictive, most people tend to go back to their old habits, and then whatever progress they received, they tend to take a step back. So instead of being restrictive, I want you to be more inclusive. So for this week, what that means, include more vegetables, nutrient-dense foods, fresh, whole, unprocessed foods, complex carbohydrates because they take because you digest them a little bit slowly or a little more slow, so you don't have those harsh insulin spikes. Drink more water because when you're dehydrated, sometimes that can mimic the effect of feeling hungry. Next, vary your protein sources. It's unhealthy to just get all your protein from chicken. You definitely want a varied protein sources so you can have a varied amino acid profile. So instead of just chicken and red meats, I want you to try lentils, legumes, lean cuts of meats like turkey, like chicken. So if you include more of those foods, that's a huge step in changing your eating habits for the better. So again, fresh, whole, unprocessed foods, a lot of vegetables of varied colors, vary your protein source, and drink more water. So with every meal this week, I want you to include more vegetables. All right, so take an extra handful of greens. Think about eating the rainbow, different colors of foods. Now, you don't necessarily need to eat broccoli because society is telling you to eat broccoli, but find those vegetables that you do enjoy, that you can put into recipes that enjoy and that taste good to you, because at the end of the day, if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to eat it. And finally, I get asked all the time what supplements I take. Honestly, eating is your primary supplement, so less is more. Before you start talking about branched chain amino acids and protein powders and creatine and all those type of things, just get the basics down right. And in most cases, people aren't getting those basics down right. 8 out of 10 Americans aren't eating enough vegetables, all right? So that's the focus for this week. Be more inclusive with your eating, and we'll see how you feel at the end of this week.